Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your entrepreneurship tutor, Professor Henry Buitha of Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. Today, I want to talk about the concept of dead assets. And it's now being referred to, or rather our rural houses have been referred to as dead assets. So, rural houses as assets. Yes, it was way back in 2008 when this Peruvian economist, Armando de Soto, produced a write-up, and in his well-publicized book, The Mystery of Capital, written in the year 2000, Armando de Soto differentiated between poor people in developing countries and urged for the conversion of their dead capital into life functioning. And part of those debt capital were the rural houses in rural settings. In 2018, Kenyan economist Dr. Bitange Ndemo opined that building in the village where you rarely visit is a misplaced investment and therefore dead capital. Yes, he wrote this article in 2018 February, Africa Dead Capital Contradictions. And recently, Dr. Julius Kimuketich talked about the same in a conference. Let's listen to Dr. Julius Kimuketich.
Assets do we have as Kenyans collectively? And let me give you examples of these dead assets that most of you have, which can free, if you sell them, they can free and give you capital to then multiply your business. How many of you have a house in the village? And you are paying rent here in Nairobi? Okay, I can see a few I have. You see, many dead assets. How much did you invest? 2-3 million. If you had put 3 million in treasury bills, it would have given you how much? 210,000 every year. But it's not house in the village. Who are you keeping there? A houseboy. When it's leaking, the houseboy calls you and say, "Tuma pesa." So who is the boss? The person is living in your house in the village. You are hoping to go and live there when you are retired. Okay? So the guy lives in your house for 20 years, taking care of it, and says, "Tuma pesa." The houseboy is the boss. Now, there are so many dead assets in our country. If we just free that capital, you can imagine the savings we will unleash to expand our businesses. So that is one. So do asset rationalization and say, how am I freeing my assets and how am I using them? Most of you, for example, have plots all over the place. Most of these plots are dead assets. You are hoping that one day a Thika road will pass there and then you get a capital gain. But there are no Thika roads that will pass all over the place.
Yes. I looked at the Merriam-Webster definition of dead asset, and it says property carried on accounting books that has neither present nor prospective value, and it's usually used in plural. So the term dead assets is mainly used by economists and accountants. And I agree with the economists or the foregoing scholars who have referred to rural houses as debt assets and actually employing the economics and accounting school of thought. Now, rural houses as debt capital or as debt assets, of course, in my opinion, looked at from a purely economic standpoint, and the argument of the cited scholars, people's decision to build in rural areas is misguided, according to the above. But however, rural homes serve purposes outside economics too. There are socio-cultural norms, among others, that come into play. The construction of rural buildings in many parts of Kenya also helps to uplift the rural faith and perhaps even economic status of those several rural areas. So it may be discussed further, it may be debatable to refer, when we refer to every rural house from the economics standpoint only. But be it as it is, let's look at it from an entrepreneur's perspective. In my perspective as an entrepreneurship scholar, I would say, rather than condemn those rural houses, after all they are already built, rather than condemn them as debt assets, and therefore discourage people from building rural homes, we may explore how to turn them into assets, even if that was the objective of building them. How can we add economic value to the so-called debt assets? That is an entrepreneur's perspective, but not to discourage building rural houses. I have about 10 or so proposals or guidelines. I'm talking about Kenya. Devolution is here. Many of the former rural areas are developing into towns. Some of these houses may be rented out to those working in the local areas. And therefore, can we look at devolution, the opportunities that devolution has brought us, and see how that debt asset can be converted into a life asset? You have your house in the rural areas, you never go there, you visit there once in a year. Yes, probably there's even a servant's quarters. Explore that possibility. Number 2, international home tourism. It is now fashionable that many tourists coming from abroad don't want to stay in hotels. They are looking for rural settings where they can stay, mix with the local culture and learn it more than when they were staying, let's say, in Hilton. So, if you have a rural home, why don't you explore that possibility? And organizations, government units like the Kenya Investment Authority can come in handy for you. So, can we convert that rural house of yours to be an international home touristic site? Not just international, this local domestic tourism. Look, on the right you see this is the Kikuyu culture, traditional Kikuyu culture houses, and that is on the right. On the left you can see termites, flying white ants, a delicacy in Luhya land. Why don't you think about those exchange visits, and your house can come hand in? Take people from other cultures to experience your own culture. That house, they will stay in. They will mix around local, domestic tourism, cultural exchange. Number 4, just use it to borrow. Use it as a collateral. Explore those possibilities. I am alive to the fact that not every proposal I'm making is universal, does not cut across. But I'm saying this is a menu, this is a buffet. Choose what you think is possible for you. So don't just call it a debt asset. See how you can use it to borrow more money and even do your business in town. Number 4, yes, make it a go down. Look, this looks like it is Makueni, Machakos, Ukambani. Those are mangoes. Mango farmers, you can make your house a collection point. Collection point for the small farmers, what we're going maybe aggregation. You are aggregating this, and therefore for further trade, building a value chain and a supply chain. So think about it. Are you in a position where you can use that rural house as a storage, agri-storage, for example, as I go down? Number 6, holiday events. Yes, you don't need to be going there every month. You can do there 3 holidays in a year, and you organize those holidays. You'll come and stay in your house. It will earn you economic value, even when you did build it for that purpose. Number 7, student housing. Again, with the devolution. Education like the polytechnics, vocational training centers have been devolved, and they are expanding. And the institutions that hold them don't have enough housing, enough dormitories. That house, that rural house of yours, can be converted into a student housing. Home business. Yes, you have a home there. Why look at it as debt capital? Probably make it an elderly house, or the house for the elderly, like you can see. You can also do rural businesses. You can see on the right, those are cricket. Start farming cricket. That houseboy of yours, who is keeping that house, can be trained to do this cricket farming. And there it is. You have converted what economists are calling debt assets into life assets, if you like. Number 9, research sites. You probably are near a mountain. People want to research on monkeys. Researchers can come and stay in your house as they do their research. Not just, there are many others. Kakamega Forest, and, for example. Film shooting. Yes. Explore the possibility of having your house for film shooting. So what am I saying? That let's not look at our rural houses, all of them, as dead assets. Let's see how we can convert them into real assets. So my parting shot, I would encourage many more professionals to consider putting up rural homes. They will serve many purposes. They will inspire young people in the villages to work hard, seeing how they can, emulate this person who has come and uplifted the face of the rural. It will also give professionals a reason to go back to the village regularly and contribute to this cause and development of areas they hail from. So, rather than discourage people putting up rural houses because they are debt assets, I would say think of how you can put that house to more than one use. There are the cultural norms that require that you have a house in the village, but you are not using this house every now and then. So as you satisfy the cultural norms, think about entrepreneurship, think about value addition to your house, and therefore, if you have a dead asset, start thinking about it. One of the above or something else might crop up. Don't leave it idle. So, if you enjoyed this talk, like it, share it, subscribe. But if you really want to assist us, bring you more, if you so wish, then you can donate. You can follow that website and donate, so we bring you more. Or you can simply give us something through 547-6465. We shall continue giving you, sharing you ideas, particularly in entrepreneurship. Thank you very much, and please convert your debt asset into a real asset.